Reload number 34. Few top headlines include half of digital budgets dedicated to retargeting. E-commerce is at an all-time high, and 2014 SEO year in review, plus much, much more. What we're going to do with this Friday Reload is we get you caught up on what you might have missed in the week by hand curating the best posts, news, videos, tools, tactics, tips, and tricks for you. And let's dive right in. So I always like to start with the news. And I do want to quick preface this. It's a very, very packed reload. So we're going to keep it short and sweet so we can get through all of it. First up, more marketers now dedicate over half of digital budgets to retargeting. Study shows that marketers are investing more heavily in retargeting, saying it performs as well as search, email, and other display. 2015, I'm calling it, everyone else is calling it. It will be the year of remarketing, retargeting, whatever you like to call it. This is big. This is huge. If you're not following along, if this is your first time ever hearing of retargeting, dig in, do some research. Check out the other Friday reloads if you want to, or just bounce around on the internet, but learn about retargeting. Next up, NBC Universal offers social media guarantees to advertisers. It introduced a new ad product that simplifies social media buys. So basically what they're doing is they're doing sponsored posts on their Facebook page, and they're guaranteeing a certain amount of results. They're guaranteeing a certain amount of shares or a certain amount of views. This is very interesting. It's an interesting move. It's a nice way for them to leverage their brand and use it as a platform, and also start using it as its own ad space and inventory. It'll be interesting to see if other brands try this and how well this goes. Next up, measure more, improving estimated total conversions with store visit insights. So new paths to purchase increase consumer expectations, which is compelling businesses to rethink experiences in measurement. Google is moving along according with that. So these Google store visits are part of a larger movement towards metrics that matters. If you aren't familiar with the term metrics that matter, there's so many numbers, analytics, things being thrown at us day after day after day. If you look in Google Analytics, God, you can go down the rabbit hole and never come back. So more than ever, is it important for us to focus on what actually matters? What are the key analytics that are driving our business? Is it traffic? Is it opt-ins? Is it open rates? Is it purchases? Is it paid traffic? Well, what is it that really drives our business? So Google is trying to help bring that to the offline brick and mortar stores as well. Next up, e-commerce conversion rate at a seasonal high, and traffic is remaining strong. Shoppers appear to be in a serious buying mode, having done most of their gift buying research for the season, according to the Marketing Land Online Retail Shopping Report. So this doesn't surprise me. I know I bought some gifts online, and some of them are even a little bit overpriced, but God, I talked to so many people that were talking about shopping and how crazy it was, and it's just a zoo. And I sigh a breath of relief, not even having to worry about that or deal with that. Now, on a similar note, December 2014 e-commerce orders up 16.5% and revenue climbs 15.6% over last year. So basically, we had a record-breaking holiday season once again. We had an awesome Cyber Monday. The numbers are just off the charts. E-commerce is blowing up and shows no signs of slowing down. If anything, I can't wait till I can order, paper towels from Amazon and have it shipped to my house. I know if you're in New York or certain cities, you can have that happen. I saw a good buddy of mine, Ryan Reed, who had ran out of coffee cups, like those little K-cups for his coffee. And he ordered them and they showed up an hour later. Absolutely incredible. Next up, we have 2014 year in review, a look back on what happened with SEO. So this is a lengthy one, and we're going to kind of just jump around a little bit and give you kind of the overview Dig into the blog digitaltriggers.io/FR34 for the link to check this out if you want to dig in a little bit more. So what happened? So in January, Expedia was the first big brand of the year. They got hit with a penalty for unnatural link building. Supposedly, they lost around 25% of its visibility in Google because of the penalty. Also, Matt Cutts put the hammer down on guest blogging. In February, Google moved to 100% secure search and took all the keyword data with it. March, webmasters started chatting about an update after seeing fluctuations. Google had redesigned its SERPs for desktop users, removing underlined hyperlinks, increasing the font size slightly for title tags, and changing how ads are displayed. In April, the Heartbleed bug was revealed. Also, the head of Google Plus announced his departure. May, Panda 4.0 rolled out, targeting sites with low quality comment. Ask.com and Retail Me Not were among the big brands affected by the change. But eBay got slammed. And apparently they suggested that it cost the business over $200 million in revenue. In June, authorship photos were phased out. Later on, the whole authorship program was phased out. In July, the Pigeon update came out, which really switched things up. Groupon ran an experiment where they actually removed themselves from the search engines. And they found that, quote unquote, when you see, direct traffic to your site, they found that 60% of that direct traffic was actually organic search traffic, which was something that people had long thought about the quote unquote direct traffic. In August, Google announced it was using the HTTPS as a ranking signal to try to move towards a more secure internet. September, they released Search Metrics released their 2014 SEO ranking factors. High quality content, strong page architecture, and user signals saw the biggest increases in affecting ranking, while keyword links and social signals both decreased in value. In October, Google finally refreshed the Penguin update. In November, they ditched the local carousel for hotels, restaurants, nightlife, and entertainment. In December, Bing released its own version of Panda. Also, Stone Temple Consulting released an extensive Twitter engagement study of more than 4 million tweets. So one of the big findings was that time of the day had little to no impact on retweet ability. I'm going to disagree with that, though. All right, time to move into our stories. Now, our first one takes us to Quora. So Apple has a model called Apple's Directly Responsible Individual Model, or DRI. So meetings can be a real drag on people's time with the company. So this answer describes how their model helps make meetings more effective. So this is a little bit more on DRI. The accountability mindset extends down the ranks. At Apple, there's never any confusion as to who is responsible for what. Internal Apple speak even has a name for it, DRI, or Directly Responsible Individual. Often, the DRI's name will appear on an agenda for a meeting so everyone knows who is responsible. Any effective meeting at Apple will have an action list. Next to each action item will be the DRI. A common phrase heard around Apple when someone is trying to learn the right contact on a project is, who's the DRI on that? So Gloria Lynn, who worked on the iPod plus the iPhone new tech, talked about it and said that it works phenomenally well. She does say that it's just a concept, and she talks about a few of the things that it helps solve. When you're solving complex cross-functional engineering issues, when it's unclear who's got the ball and what should be happening, and when everyone knows that something is important, but no one feels like it's their responsibility to see it all the way through. This is an awesome, in-depth answer. The whole concept, it's one of those like the Toyota one that just kind of came out of nowhere. But man, I love someone being responsible, because so often maybe 3 people are involved, but who's going to check the boxes? Who's going to make sure it gets done? Next up, citation inconsistency is the #1 issue affecting local ranking. So a recent survey of local SEO practitioners and business owners, they came to the conclusion, what are the 2 most common ranking issues that you come across? 41% said citation, 27% said duplicate Google Plus listings, 15% said poor on-site optimization, 13% said poor backlink profile, and then 4% said Google Places guideline violations. Next up, we have a post from Lead Pages. And this is the 4-step process for creating blog posts that actually build your brand. Let me scroll down because I outlined it nicely on our blog. Step 1, give readers more chances to join your email list. Step 2, make Google love your blog posts. Step 3, tell the world your blog post exists. And step 4, recycle, reuse, and repeat. Next up, we also have the Kevin McAllister Guide to Booby Trapping Your Website for Maximum Conversions. Now, 2 things I love about this. One, we have this awesome looking infographic, and it all attaches back to a wonderful movie, as you can see here, Home Alone. And I love these GIFs. I just love how relevant they are, and that's awesome that they superimpose something in there. I love how relevant they are. I love how relevant the GIFs are. It's just great content, and it really draws you in. I mean, the only thing better than good information is it being displayed in a good way. Next up, we have the evolution of HubSpot's email marketing strategy. So it's pretty rare for a public company to share their history, including comprehensive metrics. HubSpot does just that in this detailed post about how their email marketing strategy has evolved over the years. I mean, HubSpot, God, they go through phase 0, 2006 to 2007, detail it all, phase 2, 2009, 2010. I mean, they really, you can see, they really break this one down. Next up, a surprising source of traffic for breakout content marketing. Basically, data shows how social is extremely critical for generating exceptionally successful posts. Next up, from minimum viable course to 100,000 users. So Konrad Wojcicki, the co-founder of Fedora, tells the story of Bitfountain, one of the early successes on the Fedora platform. Bitfountain offers instructional courses on programming, and it started off as a side project, but now has over 100,000 people on its mailing list and generated revenues over $2 million. God dang. Now we have 2 great Ask Growth Hackers. First one is, how are you capturing emails today? So curious to know what the best method for capturing email addresses has been for our folks, whether it's a MailChimp embedded form, apps like Hello Bar, SumoMe, and what is the ask other than join our email list? Are you giving something away? So there's a great answer here. The top answer is a great answer and a lot of really good discussion here. You know, we love talking about emails. It's huge. Next up, what is the best idea that you've gotten from an article on Growth Hackers, and which article was it? So one of the main benefits people claim to get from Growth Hackers, they get lots of new ideas to test. This person's asking, they'd love to learn about specific ideas that you're getting. And if you tested the idea, how well did it work? So lots of different posts here outlining exactly what they did and where they found that initially. Might be a good idea for giving you some ideas for what you should test next, because you always want to be testing, but you always want to be testing what's already working for others. So we have a post here, which is currently running AdWords. Here's why you should also be using Bing ads. Number 1, extend your reach. That's a given. Number 2, reach an older, higher income demographic. Number 3, cheaper cost per clicks. Number 4, and they provided some data here that they noticed the automotive industry cost per clicks were on average 32% lower. And in the insurance industry, they were about 60% lower. 4, higher engagement conversion rates. Awesome. Number 5, you can easily import directly from AdWords. And then lastly, number 6, Bing Analytics. Next up, we have business advice from the richest people in the world. So get some business advice from some of the greatest minds of our time. This is a slide share. I freaking love slide shares. I hope you guys like slide shares as well. I just feel like they're the wonderful kind of marriage between images, but almost feeling like a video, and you can just, I don't know, tear through these things. Next up, we have another one, right? Might as well keep it in step. And this is what 33 successful entrepreneurs learned from failure. Now, if you are an entrepreneur or a self-starter, freelancer, however you want to label it, You're probably going to fail at some point, and you're not alone. Everyone's been through failures. Everyone always comes out better for it on the other side, typically speaking. So this is a great slide share that outlines that. I mean, you got to remember everyone fails from time to time. And sometimes reading about how other people ended up being successful after their failures can help keep you motivated. Next up, we have how I raised my conversion rate by 400% in 6 days and why these numbers count. So a very impressive PPC result is detailed in this post. Next up, we have 11 data-backed strategies to improve email click-through rates. So David Arrington always shares great insights about email marketing. We featured him on the blog 2 or 3 times before. This time, we dive into some actionable strategies to improve email click-through rates. He also filled the article with real examples from real businesses and expert opinions. Now we have our SaaS weekly tip. So this one is actually on the blog, and if you click the link, you can sign up for SaaS Weekly, software as a service, for those of you not following. And his tip is